Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Southern Reads Podcast, the show where I talk about books and only books and everything book related. And today I am joined by Mr. Brad Elder. He is the author of thriller novels, as well as the CEO of Select Title and a licensed attorney in the state of Texas. His first novel, Recoil of Justice, is available now on Amazon, Ingram Sparks, or anywhere where you buy books online. And today he's here. He's going to share a little bit more about his journey as an author, share a little bit more about the book process, and just kind of what his experience as being an author has been like. So, Brad, thank you so much for wanting to come on the podcast today. I'm really looking forward to hearing your story and just having a really good conversation with you. So, welcome to Southern Reads.
Thank you. No, I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Now, how did this is kind of an interesting career switch because you went from working
Yeah.
as a licensed attorney, working in kind of the government, and then you've kind of ventured into books and becoming an author. What was that? When was the exact moment that you had when you were like, I want to try writing and to see how I like it?
Yeah, that's a real interesting question, and I'll try to keep the answer short. It was never a bucket list thing for me to write a book. I never really even read that much growing up. Didn't start reading, I guess, any in earnest until I got into law school. And I went to law school later in life, and I was in my early 30s when I started. And during the process, I thought, well, I do kind of actually enjoy reading some of the more interesting cases, not the old archaic ones, but some of the interesting ones. I did enjoy learning through reading. And so when I graduated, I kind of missed the reading part of it. And so I thought, well, I'm a lawyer now. I have to read John Grisham books. So I went straight into reading John Grisham's books and moved from there to the Harlan Cobens of the world and Brad Thor and Jack Carr and Baldacci and things of that authors of that nature. And but I never had a desire to write or even think I had the ability to write. But a few years ago, I was involved in a lawsuit that I was actually the defendant on through my company, a long, very drawn out lawsuit, and it was a couple of 2.5 years in, and a couple of days before the trial, it got postponed, and I was distraught because this was incredibly stressful to my life. So I thought, I'm going to do something where the outcome doesn't matter and I'm the only one in control of it. So I thought I always kind of want to try painting. So I went to the store and bought some canvas and some paint and just started painting. And I can assure you the first few are in a dumpster somewhere because that's where they belonged. I was so bad at it. But um, as I got a little better, and one time I was painting a picture and I had the stroke brush stroke on the canvas. I'm like, well, it wasn't supposed to be a wave, but that looked exactly like a wave. So I kind of started learning through my mistakes and it awakened this creative gene in me that I didn't even realize I had. So fast forward a couple of years and I was reading a Jack Carr book, Red Sky Morning, and I just thought, I think I can do this because you start to recognize tropes and you start recognize, the pacing of the book and the writing style. And I thought, I'm going to give this a try. So I finished the book and picked up my computer and started writing. I had some semblance of a plot in mind, but nothing like it is now. I had thought through about 3 steps, not the 3,000 steps that you need before your manuscript is finished. And I just sat down and started writing, and it's changed drastically since then. The name has changed, the character's name have changed, the plot has completely changed. But it was for the next 9 months or so that I spent writing it, I'd never had more fun or more desire to sit down in front of my computer. It just awoken something in me that I didn't even realize was there.
Yeah, and you also really have a thing for thriller books as
Mhm.
well. And was that something that you wanted to try to be an author in, or did you want to try other genres to see what genre kind of spoke to you the most?
Well, not really. I never had the desire to write in a different genre because I never had the desire to read in a different genre, to be honest. I don't have a writing background. I don't have a writing degree. I've never been trained in contemporary writing. Never had a class other than freshman English and my about 30 some odd years ago, my freshman year of college. So I don't have any experience in that. So my teachers were the authors that I read, and any ability that I have, I owe to them. So I never ventured out into any other genres. So I don't have the teaching for those other genres, I would say. Um, Now since then I've branched out a little bit with some of my reading, but um, thrillers are what motivate me as a reader, and I try to write what I would like to read. So, um, more power to anyone who has that ability and has that desire to write in multi genres. I have neither. I don't believe anyway. Well, I haven't discovered that I have any others yet. So it's a work in progress. But I know some authors who do write multi-genre, and that takes a real talent. Um, but I'm a, you know, I call it a feel writer. I don't outline. I don't think I'm creative enough to sit down and write out an outline with all the story beats and all the chapter beats. I'm more creative when I'm being creative, and that's when I'm writing. I kind of let the story happen and let the characters almost tell me the story. So, um, again, I don't have the experience in the other genres and nor the desire right now. So, as for right now, I'm gonna stick with thrillers until something sparks my interest, and who knows?
And that kind of goes into this book that you've come out with, Recoil of Justice. Tell me a little bit about kind of just the overview about what the book's about and
Sure.
kind of what themes and people can expect when they read it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a legal thriller. I call it a legal light thriller. A case is a lawsuit is the centerpiece of the book, at least in Act One. And Ryan Wolf, who's my protagonist, is a lawyer. It goes much further than his world in the law, however. I wanted to develop a character. Well, let me back up for a second. Most of the great heroes you meet in thriller novels, whether it be Scott Harvath or James Reese or whoever that may be, you kind of meet them after, and pardon my French here to your listeners who don't want to hear this, but their bad foundation has been set for quite a while. They were either Navy SEALs or they're special ops or they're ex-CIA or FBI, what have you. You meet them years later. I wanted a character that your readers could meet at his, as I call it, his badass genesis. So you meet him as a normal man, just a normal guy, the classic unlikely hero, um, that throughout the book, it starts with the case. It's stolen software code. His clients had developed a very secure, um, extremely high tech data storage, um, and sharing software, and it got stolen and in the wrong hands. The first part of the book follows that part of the story, and then when he realizes who truly is behind the theft, it gets far more sinister. And someone he loves is caught in the middle of this. There's cartel involvement, there's human trafficking, there's organ trafficking, and when someone he loves is caught in the middle of that, and the case has already culminated. Now he's at the end of his legal rope at this point. He has no more legal recourse. He only has one recourse, and that's to take care of it himself. And he explores how far he's willing to go to protect those he loves. And the centerpiece of him and the series is his need to protect and his need to protect those around him. And what he really struggles with is not so much the fact he did the things. I don't want to have any spoilers here, but he did the things that he had to do. It's the fact that he doesn't regret doing the things that he had to do. And what does that mean about him? And how can he reconcile this person inside of him that he never realized he was and why is he okay with it, and why does he even desire it?
Was this book difficult to write since you really didn't have a lot of kind of writing experience there? Did you have to do any kind of writing classes to kind of get a sense of like how to go about this process?
No, I didn't take any writing classes, actually. What really helped me is after I completed the novel, I hired a developmental editor to look at it. So I I hired him, sent him the manuscript, and I thought any day he's gonna write me back and tell me all the awards I'm gonna win, from this fabulous manuscript. And he sent me back a bunch of changes. He said, you go down too many, little too many rabbit trails, a little too much backstory. You're getting off the basis of the story. So I really learned more about writing going through the editorial process. So the writing part was fun for me. And it came, I'm not going to say easy. I'm not going to say that at all, because there were plenty of times I sat there and stared at my computer screen thinking, what next? What next? What next? And by just powering through it and just writing something down that worked with the story, certainly, um, it it was actually has been that was easier to write than my follow-up novel so far, that I'm probably three-fourths of the way completed with now, because I didn't realize there was a structure when I first wrote Recoil of Justice. I didn't realize, oh, there's a three-act structure, or there's the unlike the hero, or there's the hero's journey, or there's save the cat. All those things that we think about now, I didn't realize there's a box that these books need to be fit in. I felt it, just out of feel, out of had read so many, but now trying to keep it inside of a box has made it more challenging for me. So I try to forget what I know now and know that I can fix it in the editorial process, and just write to where I think the story needs to go. Um, but the first one was actually a little easier until I got through the editing process. And then I had to shave a ton of words, and then I had to add a ton of words. And so that's what really taught me more about writing than any class that I've taken. And I do take a lot of class on craft. Because I do want to continue to improve, and I still read a lot, again, because I want to continue to improve, and obviously for the enjoyment of it. But it was, for me at the time, when I was writing it, in the back of my mind, I thought I may just write this and it's just going to sit there. But as I did more and put more work into it and got better and better and better feedback, I knew it was something I had to see through.
How did you go about the publishing process? Did you work with a traditional publishing service, or did you want to become self-published? How did you go about releasing the book?
Well, yeah, and that's the fork in the road. Right. So in the beginning, I just assumed I was going to send this manuscript out, and query an agent, and surely, hopefully an agent would pick it up, and hopefully a publishing company would pick it up. It doesn't work that easily. Um, there's a few more people than me out there writing books. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. So the agents are getting inundated with query letters and manuscripts. And that's no fault. That's a wonderful thing. The more books out there, the better. But um, I'm not I'm not real good at sitting around and waiting. So I just Googled one day, uh, you know, independent, independently publishing your book. I just Googled it. There was pages and pages and pages and pages of services out there that will help you publish your book. And I knew nothing about it. I always thought about indie publishing as selling books out of the trunk of your car, right? So I didn't realize how many incredibly successful authors there are who are independent publishers. And to me, the imprint, the house that you print, that you publish with, I don't remember the last time I've looked at who the publisher is. I don't remember the last time. So you can publish a book, and I made a lot of mistakes doing it. a tremendous amount of mistakes doing it because I had no idea how to get a cover designed, formatting a book, getting it on all the websites to sell, getting it on whether you're going to Amazon or whether you're going wide, how to market. I had no idea how to do any of that. But I learned by fire, and I made a tremendous amount of mistakes early on. Paid some people that didn't come through with what they said they were going to do because everybody says they can absolutely they're turnkey. All you got to do is pay us a bunch of money, and we'll make sure that you're a bestseller. So that's in. I would be very leery if you're an author out there. I'd be extremely leery of anyone promising you that. Um, so, what a traditional publisher does do or can do is obviously marketing and product placement on bookshelves. Um, that's something indie publishers have an extremely difficult time doing. If you want to see yourself in Barnes and see your book in Barnes and Noble when you walk in, indie publishing is probably not the way to go. Um, but with traditional publishing, you're losing 100% of the control. I'm not necessarily saying on your writing, but you sign the rights away, and once you get it sent over, you may be 2 or 3 years before your book's ever on the shelf. So, um, with indie publishing, whenever you're ready to go, you hit the publish button, and you're available to the public. Now you got to market it, which is by far the most difficult part of the process is marketing your book. How do you set yourself apart from the 40 million books that are on that Amazon? How do you build your email list, which is vital to any independent publisher, any independent author? How do you build that email list so you'll know who your customers are? Because you sell on Amazon, you don't have any idea who that customer is because they look at it, that's their customer, not your customer. It's theirs. And you have no idea who it is. So you have no idea how to get a hold of them. You have no idea how to contact them when the next book publishes. So that email list for your newsletter is vital, and the only way to do that is well, there's a few ways to do that, but it's vital that you get those and you just can't get that on Amazon. So um, I'm not saying that if a large publishing house called me right now and said they're interested, oh, I'd be all ears because it's a hard road to be an indie, a very hard road, public and doing independent publishing. But I've never done traditional publishing, so I don't know what I'm giving up. I don't know what I'd be giving up or what I'd be gaining. Um, but I wouldn't fault anyone for at least trying to query some agents and see what kind of interest is out there.
Since releasing the book, what have you been, what's kind of some of your future plans? Do you plan on writing more books going
Mhm.
further, or have you been like, I did it once just to get a feel in there. I don't know if I'll do it again. What
Yeah.
since publishing, where's your stance on where you will go in the future with this?
Well, I started writing my next book as soon as I handed Recoil in to the editor. So I was having so much fun, I jumped straight into it. And I've been working on it for over a year now. Um, it is, it's changed a lot too. Um, I keep saying I'm 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through for quite some time now, but I really feel like it's starting to move again. I'm about 65 to 70,000 words in right now. I'm expecting it to be somewhere in the 90,000 word uh, level, somewhere in there. So yeah, my plan is to continue, get that published sometime, hopefully late summer, early fall. And I already have an idea for what I want to do for book three, but I have to keep that out of my mind right now and try not to cloud my mind as I try to finish book two. So my hope is to take the series as far as it can go, and I hope that's multiple books. And then who knows? I may after three or four of them, I may take a break and write a completely different style, still in the thriller genre. Uh, but I'm who knows? I may take a completely different avenue here and try a standalone book because there's with the series you kind of lock yourself in. You lock yourself into that first book you write, and then you got to come up with more. It's not a completely clean slate like it is in a standalone novel where you can just make up a story. You're locked in, so I could see that being more challenging as I go. Um, but also, you know that you're just going to have to exercise your creative muscles even more, which is actually quite exciting for me.
To anyone listening, what advice do you have for anyone that's wanting to become a writer, but they may be stuck in starting that process? How do you um go about what advice would you give to them?
Well, just like anything, um, whether it's saving money, whether it's getting in shape, whether it's bettering yourself in any way, and this sounds cliche, but you just have to start the process. I don't care if you have an idea. I don't care. I don't care if these paragraphs are going to end up in your novel or not. Sit down and just start writing. Just write something and keep going because the chances are what you write in the beginning is not going to end up in your manuscript because it's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and you may go in a completely different direction. Who knows? I mean, the first words I ever wrote are in my manuscript. They were the prologue. Now they're the beginning of part three. So they were in there, but they're not like I saw them being in there. So I would say just start it. What? Because who cares how it turns out? What does it matter? Just start writing and see if you have the ability, see if you have the desire. Because if you're sitting around waiting for a reason to start, you can always make up reasons not to start. So just write a paragraph. Just sit down right now and write out a paragraph. See where it goes. Just write something.
Well, Brad, I appreciate you so much for taking time to come on the podcast today to share your story and to talk about your book and everything. For anyone interested in the book, if they would like to check it out, where can they go to ask those questions and where can they go to reach out to you?
Yeah, they can go to bradeldernovels.com. That's BRADELDER novels with an S.com. And there'll be a buy button there, or they can go straight to books2read.com. That's books and then number two rad.com and search for Recoil of Justice. And they can buy that directly from me. Or they can send me an email. If they want a signed copy, send me an email at brad@bradeldernovels.com. And I answer every email. Um, I'm a firm believer in not letting a bot answer your email for you because they've taken the time to write me. They deserve my time to write them back. So I would love to hear from them. If anybody has any questions, they don't have to buy my book. They have questions about the process or questions about what to do or where to start. I truly enjoy talking about that.
And I'll put all this information down in the description box below so that if you are interested in learning more about his book and would like to follow him, feel free to just check out all the links in the description box. Feel free to follow the podcast on the socials. You can reach out to me on Instagram and TikTok at southern.reads. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Noah's Podcast. And as always, feel free to go to the website noahspodcast.com to learn more about this show as well as the other shows and podcasts that I do. So feel free to go check that out. Again, all those links will be down below as well. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day. Be safe, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Southern Reads.